Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another episode of Hollywood After Dark, episode 33. Tonight, of course, is July 25th, 2021. Today, we got our first look at Army of Thieves, and I have to ask the question, who in the hell is this movie for? Let's talk about it right now. Hey, what's going on, everyone? All right, let me just get this off the screen because, clearly I prep things properly here on the show. Hi! Hope everyone is doing well tonight. Let me just give a very quick, awesome, amazing shout out to the channel members. I like people to know that they're appreciated. And these folks here, they're appreciated. Guess who else is appreciated? You, just not as much as them. No, I'm kidding. I love you guys all very much. And if you want to become a channel member, get your name on that list. The best way to do it is join. And if you join, send a super chat, become a member, all that jazz. You can get your hands on this Indiana Jones 40 Years Raiders of the Lost Ark magazine. Actual physical copy magazine. I know, something to read, but I'll send it to you at the end of the month. This can be coming up here just a couple days, so get in on the action while you can, and that's my shilling. Folks, that's my shilling. That's what I like to do. A couple seconds in the beginning of the show, get in, get out, be done. My girlfriend shares your pain. Anyway, yeah. At least the mic isn't muted. I made sure to check that. This time, Yvonne. I did. It's been a very interesting weekend, to say the very least. What we have today is kind of like the ending of a weekend of hell for Kevin Smith, obviously. Masters of the Universe Revelation came out on Thursday night at midnight, at least here on the Pacific Coast, and a lot of people watched it, and there's been this massive ongoing vast downvoting review bombing spree surrounding this show, and a lot of people out there are using it in the worst way possible to milk a situation in order to I don't know, to just be kind of jerky jerks about it, because they think that they're somehow righteous in their anger over a show that many of whom weren't even alive when the show aired nearly 40 fucking years ago. I mean, this would be like them getting mad at the fucking Flintstones, which they will, because Seth MacFarlane is producing a new Flintstones animated series. So, of course, there's that. All right, so let's see here. Voice of the Emperor, $2 super chat says, "May I come on, explain Games Workshop?" Is that the that's the Warhammer thing, right? We'll get to that here in a little bit, okay? In the meantime, thank you for that, by the way, Voice of the Emperor. Today, if I could talk, Ty from Pop Culture Corner is going to be coming on in, because we're going to be talking about the Justice League motion comics. Some new things popped up with that today. But of course, today is being the end of also Comic-Con at Home. And there was a couple things I believe worth kind of bringing up here. One of which is one that we've talked about here on the show a couple times, because a lot of people here are actually really big fans of the show Bob's Burgers. And we are now getting a little bit of information surrounding the upcoming movie, saying here from Lauren Burchard, we are leaving no stone unturned. Don't quite know what that means, but let's find out more. So when asked about the premiere date for the movie, which, by the way, was originally ordered in 2017, eyeing a 2020 release date, now it's been over a year since that. There's been nothing from Fox on this one. Fox, there's nothing from Disney. Saying here, we still don't have a date. But I do, of course, want to tell the fans we're working on it. My every waking moment is spent on the movie, and it's coming. They have to put it out. Now, my question about that is, if the movie was originally slated to come out a year ago, I know they delayed it. Are they still working on it, or are they still, is it done? I have no idea, but I want to know more, because I really want to see something for this movie. He says, we're going to be in theaters. That's my pledge. I think really soon we're going to start releasing trailers, art, clips, all the little things that are such a pleasure for us to release in the world. And I think, again, once they figure out how to do this, it's going to obviously come out through 20th Century Studios. They just want to make sure that they can profit the most off of this movie. Given how well the show does and how popular the show is, I would argue that the likelihood of them actually doing pretty well with it would be okay. I think they would do okay with it. I think one of the bigger problems with this particular property right now is the fact that there's not a new season, I think, until October. So they'd want to probably release it during the season of the show. And it's entirely possible they might do a smart move and tie in episodes of the show with the film theatrically, which would be pretty cool. That's all my own speculation. But I'm hoping it comes out soon. I'll let you know more. However, apparently on this panel, which I do need to check out, H. John Benjamin, John Roberts, Kristen Shaw, Eugene Merman, Dan Mintz, Larry Murphy, Nora Smith, and Lauren Bashar described the film as a musical comedy mystery adventure and kind of a coming of age story. Now, my question with that is, when it says it's kind of a coming of age story, are we finally going to get a Jimmy Jr. and Tina hookup? Is it finally going to become official? I don't know. Shiftygism here says the show is fantastic. I completely agree. My girlfriend and I have been just kind of watching the show on repeat. We generally tend to watch it over dinner with the kids. And because we just put it on. We like the show quite a bit. I think we're already on like our third or fourth watch through of the series at this point. And we absolutely adore Bob's Burgers. It's probably at this point, it's just one of my all-time favorite shows. So, I mean, I can't wait to see what they do with this thing. Hopefully it's pretty good. Now, I see Dark Beast here talking about the Clerks animated series from back 21 years ago. What's funny was we did talk about that on the podcast I was just on with Pop Culture Corner. I think maybe at the end of it, but we definitely brought it up here. Of course, Dante says here, and this whole stupid building in the shape of an L. Why? In case you forget your initials, in case you don't know, the joke on that one is Leonardo, or just Leonardo. But that's an old reference right there to the Clerks animated series. It's a fantastic show. Eric here asking, Matt, are you a Dexter fan? Comic-Con at Home released a trailer. I really enjoyed it. The ending of the series was bad. Original showrunner is returning. Eric, I do like Dexter. I have not seen the Dexter New Blood teaser they put out. I started to watch it, and then I got distracted. So that's unfortunate. I did start to watch it, though. I have not seen the final season of the show. It's not that I didn't care for season 7. I just kind of lost interest. And I know the ending of the show. Like, I know he is a lumberjack, which I don't, at this point, it's been so long, spoilers, whatever. I mean, like, Michael C. Hall, I guess either Deborah Carpenter is coming back, right? Or Jessica Carpenter, whatever her name is coming back as Deborah. That's going to be fascinating. I don't know what happened all the way through the season, so I don't know who's alive. I don't know who's dead, everything else. If they find a way to bring back Dokes, that would be great. That would be a real surprise, motherfucker. That'd be fantastic. I think that would be awesome. I did see the Chucky trailer today, which gave me a lot of very mixed feelings. And I was going to do a video on it, like kind of like just like a random stream of consciousness on it, because I'm watching this trailer and it's like, was that Brad Dourif who was voicing Chucky? Because it didn't really sound like Brad Dourif. I mean, the laugh sounded really good. The laugh sounded like it was Brad Dourif, but I just, other parts of it felt a little bit weird to me. The CG on the doll's face, or the animatronic on the doll's face, was a little bit off as well. And the kid, you know, the kid looked like Danny a little bit, like a teenage emo version of Danny, like a wannabe scene kid version of Danny, who's like really hanging on to this doll. I don't quite get it, to be honest with you. It's one of those things where I'm like, all right, whatever, we'll see how it goes. But it's coming to USA and Sci-Fi. And I'm a little bit concerned about that, to be honest with you. But I know Don Mancini is behind it, and that's awesome. I know Mancini's behind it. It's a continuation of the movies, I think. It looks very bloody. It looks very violent. I do like the whole thing when it's like the whole vintage retro conversation. Like, oh, someone took a knife out of the knife box here. Or the whatever it's called. You know, like, that's kind of interesting. So, I mean, it's going to be a violent show. And I do enjoy the Chucky movies. But I'm wondering if this is going to be more like Child's Play 2. Definitely not Child's Play 1, but more like Child's Play 2 or like Seed of Chucky. You know, and there's just such a varied there's such a difference there in the approach, right? Child's Play 2 was more grounded, for however grounded you want to call it. Child's Play 3 got really weird. Bride of Chucky, also really weird, but I did enjoy Bride of Chucky quite a bit. And then Seed of Chucky was just like, what the fuck? All right, whatever. I'm hoping, yeah, I agree. Hopefully it's not like Seed of Chucky there. Let's see here. Come on, Matt. Enough Boss Baby cosplay. Let's rock the his house. I don't have any Boss Baby cosplay. Kira here says, I don't think it's Brad Dourif. I thought it was. I thought they said Brad Dourif was going to be in there. But we'll have to figure it out. All right. And so let me just quickly answer this one here from Voice of the Emperor. It says, you hear who's been cast for Grand Admiral Thrawn? I have, yes. It was it's Lars Mikkelsen, right? It's Mads' younger brother who voices him in the show, which is very, very fascinating. And that's great. That's good casting. He looks like it too. If that is to be believed, if LRM has it up there right. Let's see here. The Day of the Dead trailer looks like shit. Yeah, I got the email for that. I have not watched that trailer. Music Man, if you're on Twitter, if you want to DM me that trailer, we'll check it out, because these streams get demonetized. I rely on your guys' super chat, so I appreciate everyone who helps out that way. We got Ty from Pop Culture Corner. How's it going, buddy?
Oh, it's going.
Yeah. Didn't we just talk for like 2 hours?
2.5. We just
2.5. Just 2.5 hours on his show.
2.5 hour podcast. But pre-recorded, so
no. When you guys, I'll link it, and I go on this whole at least 20-minute thing about frat bro and gaming, that whole thing, and I talk a lot about like strip clubs and E3 and shit.
Yeah.
So
it's your what would I call it?
Forte. I think it's my forte.
Your typical Matt Jarbo.
It's someone's coming. That's what we're talking about tonight.
Yeah.
Someone has ejaculated. That's
yeah. But so yeah. I mean, different setting for me. This is a little weird. I had to travel to get. Well, I'm at my girlfriend's house, and she doesn't have like a dedicated podcast room for me.
I mean, clearly this is grounds for termination.
Yeah. I was like, wait, you don't have an office? You don't have a second room for me to take over as a podcasting room? No, I can't afford that. Whatever. We'll see how long this lasts.
Yeah, it's yeah. When I first met my girlfriend, she had a house, and she was a 3-bedroom house.
I have a house.
Yeah.
And she doesn't. So, I think I bring a little bit more to the table, but who's to say?
Yeah, but I mean, to be fair, let's be real here. She is a woman.
Yeah, she does.
That kind of trumps a lot of stuff.
She has that over me. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, you'd be amazed, like how just intoxicating and addicting that can be.
Yeah. Yep. That General Thrawn thing, I found to be interesting. So I'm not. So okay, I am a general audience member when it comes to Star Wars. I don't know if I've said that before here, but I pretty much relate it to this. So in a video game, you can either just go straight down the linear path and beat the game.
Yeah.
So no side quests, no nothing. Just go down the line and win. That's how I am with Star Wars. Like, I've went down the movie line, but I've never taken any of the side quests.
That's okay. That's okay.
But I feel like I'm missing half of the world. I've never watched any of the animated shows, or I don't know who Thrawn is.
So General Thrawn, and I'm gonna get this wrong too, because I've never read like the Legends books.
Okay.
Or like what the original, whatever you want to call the EU and whatever. Like, I was aware of its existence, but it never really struck me as being this like something I was going to dive into, because I was at a weirder place. I was like a young kid,
Yeah.
I read like Michael Crichton is what I read. I preferred Michael Crichton. I preferred John Saul. Those are the kind of like a lot of R.L. Stein.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just talking about that.
Yeah, we were talking about like Fear Street and R.L. Stein and stuff. But when it comes to Star Wars, like, so Thrawn appeared in a series of books, a trilogy of books called like it's the Heir to the Empire trilogy.
Okay.
And he's like the post Emperor, post Darth Vader, post Death Star big bad.
Okay.
And so, like, so he's really, so Timothy Zahn is the author, and he wrote those books back in the day. And those are like kind of just, those are like definitive EU stuff. That's what people really like. And so, when Disney picked up, the rights to Lucasfilm back in 2012, in early 2014 is when they started really working on reestablishing everything. So they took the EU and they cut its balls off. Right. So and that angered a lot. Like the origins of the fandom menace, a lot of that is tied into the cancellation of the EU.
Oh.
Years before The Last Jedi hit, this is kind of where it was. So in the meantime, they did a show called Star Wars Rebels. And in Star Wars Rebels, it takes place right before the events of the original trilogy. And Admiral Thrawn makes an appearance in season 3.
Okay.
And then he's also in season 4, and like his storyline is relatively left unresolved. And so now, because again, he was a big bad guy that was supposed to be around in post Return of the Jedi.
Yep.
And there's elements of the series finale of Rebels that takes place post Return of the Jedi. I believe it's been a while since I've seen it. I might be misremembering things. But so what happened is that Disney also brought, or I should say Lucasfilm brought back Timothy Zahn to start writing more Thrawn novels when they reintroduced him into Rebels. So they were already establishing that they wanted to do more with Thrawn because they listened to the fan base, and the fan base from like the old school, the EU guys are like, what is this new shit?
Yeah.
All right. We want this old shit. This is already pre-established lore, even though some of it was kind of mixed. It was pre-established lore. People want this stuff. And so, Dave Filoni and those guys, they took it and they moved it in. And from there, like, they thought, okay, well, the story of Thrawn and Ezra are now going to be this kind of out there thing. They haven't told us what they want to do with it yet.
Okay.
But then in episode 5 of season 2 of Mando, which is called The Jedi, and it was like chapter like 13. That's when Ahsoka is like, he confronts the woman, is like, where's your boss? Where's Thrawn? And her dropping General Thrawn was like a nuclear bomb going off in the fandom.
Right. Because I asked at that moment, I was like, oh, who is that?
Yeah.
And now someone's like, you don't know who Thrawn is? What? I was like,
yeah, you're going to hear a bit of that. Yeah, you're going to hear a bit of that. Like what? Then you're like, no, I had sex. All right. No, I'm kidding. And so, so there's a big part of that. There's a big part of that where with Thrawn's character, like, people want to see what's going to happen with it. And so obviously, if you paid attention to the Disney Investor Day in December of last year, they talked about like Mando season 3 is going to go into production after the Book of Boba Fett. There's also going to be Rangers of the New Republic and the Ahsoka show. And that's all going to tie into a massive
crossover.
Crossover event. So it's like, okay, they're establishing the Avengers essentially.
Right.
This is phase 1 of the Disney shows. And I was watching that. I'm like, oh my God, like they just looked at how Kevin Feige did phase 1 of MCU and like, yeah, let's just do that.
Yeah.
And still there's DC like writing in crayon, like, I don't know what he's saying. Like, but like, again, the synergy over at the House of Mouse is like, they're on it. And so Thrawn coming in and becoming like the new big bad of this first wave I'm like, that's big for fans because this is, a lot of people are now. I saw Eckhart's Ladder today, who's a big Star Wars channel. And he was out there going like, have we entered into a golden age of Star Wars? Yeah. So despite people on the Fandom Menace that are coming out and like, oh, it's just woke garbage, all the nonsense they say, all the same words and the boring statements they just keep repeating to their ever dwindling audience.
Yeah.
All that is they just end up, like everyone else is like, no, this is actually pretty good. Like, what you guys doing? You know what I mean?
So from my interactions, it seems like, so the sequel trilogy, people like the Star Wars community, for the most part, generally rejected it, right? But the Mandalorian is widely accepted. So,
well, yeah. So it's like the Force Awakens was widely accepted by practically everybody.
was
despite what people will say. That was that was episode 7. That was a 2015 movie.
Yep.
That was widely accepted by basically everybody, and it's still a fun movie to watch. I don't have any major faults with that film.
Okay.
You know, so then you get to The Last Jedi, and The Last Jedi was like that ending was really what bothered people,
Right.
because it was like, you know, you have Luke Skywalker dying, which in a way that was so just like counterintuitive to what audiences thought was going to happen. Like I get subverting expectations, but that wasn't subverting expectations. That was just like literally shitting in someone's mouth while they slept, you know, and it's going like, fooled you sort of thing. Because like, here's the biggest part with that is Carrie Fisher passed away in December of 2016. This movie opened a year later. We know that Harrison Ford's Han Solo was already dead in canon. And we knew that Carrie Fisher was dead in real life. And she was going to be a big part of the last movie because they were trying to set it up with like Han for episode 7, Luke for episode 8, Leia for episode 9. That was going to be how they were going to connect. You know, they were going to give each character a lot of time.
Right.
And so with Carrie Fisher having died, they had a whole year to like figure out what to do with that. Okay. And so instead of like, you know, like actually like altering it to where they should have altered it, which I think having her character die by Kylo killing her and then not redeeming Kylo would have been the better course of action.
Okay.
Because if she would have died there, it would have been shocking, but you would have been like, I get it. She's actually dead. So like you can kind of make it work.
Right.
But instead you get to the end of that movie and like Luke is just sitting there and he's like looking out at the twin sons of Octu. So obviously there's juxtaposition between, you know, the Tatooine bit from New Hope. And then he just fades off into nothing.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I was like, what is going on here?
Why didn't they cut the fucking scene 5 seconds earlier? Just cut the scene 5 seconds earlier.
5 seconds while he's still
5
there.
seconds is all we would have saved a fandom. 5 seconds, you know, but instead they killed him. And then like they were just like, no, whatever. So JJ Abrams had to overcorrect for The Rise of Skywalker because he was brought in September of 2017, a few months before The Last Jedi came out, because Colin Trevorrow had left the project due to creative differences, which we now believe ultimately it was like, hey, don't kill Luke Skywalker. And Rian Johnson's like, no, not gonna kill him. No. And he's like, but he's like literally all in my script, fucking dickbag. And he's like, no.
I'm still doing it.
I'm still doing it. Nah. And anyway,
Can you pause? I'm just gonna grab my laptop charger from the kitchen.
All right, yeah. Let me answer some super chats because I kind of missed them. All right, so let me.
I'm sure H. Bartz has already spent $100.
Not yet, but I don't know. But H. Bart's here with $5. Thank you, man. Says Chucky should be on streaming, not network TV. They will cancel it. Yeah, it's all about like if they can get the funding for theaters. But a Chucky show could be very fascinating. So I appreciate that, H. Bartz. Another one here says, before coming to work tonight, I watched Casino Royale 2006. That's a legitimately good movie, dude. That is a legitimately fantastic film. I think Martin Campbell knocked it out of the park. I would argue that his entries, because he did GoldenEye and he did Casino Royale, I think Casino Royale was better than GoldenEye. And I love GoldenEye. So yeah, I love Casino Royale. Here's the thing though. Next time, watch it back to back with Quantum of Solace. If you watch them back to back, like it's a long 4-hour movie, trust me, it flows right into itself. It's great stuff. And then Voice of the Emperor here, $5 says Sherlock Holmes as one of the Joint Chiefs equals Thrawn. Yeah, that's a fair way to describe Thrawn. Thrawn is exceptionally intelligent. And I think that's going to be a pretty big thing. That's going to be good to see that kind of intelligence brought for these characters here. So, and then also another $5 from Voice of the Emperor. It says Rian Johnson / Judas desecrated our expectations. He didn't subvert them. Yeah, I mean, sure. Yeah, maybe. But I'll tell you this though. The thing with Mandalorian, as you were talking about, Ty, with it coming in, like it being heavily appreciated, was because it felt like Star Wars. It just felt like Star Wars in an era that people wanted it to go to, post Return of the Jedi. That's what people wanted. And they did it in a really good way with new, really cool technology. And then Baby Yoda is just like to die for, you know?
Yeah.
And like even today, I was at Costco with the family and we're walking back out to the car. And I look over and I see someone's got a Free Britney bumper sticker, which I was like, all right, cool.
Nope.
And then my girlfriend looks over. She's like, "Oh, Baby Yoda," because someone had a Baby Yoda window sticker or window decal. And I see those all the time. And it's like,
He was Grogu.
Grogu. Yeah, fine. I'll call it Grogu now.
I couldn't even get used to that.
To Grogu or Baby Yoda?
Grogu. I'm like,
I'm
dude,
used to
it's
Grogu.
Baby
But I still
Yoda.
prefer Baby Yoda. It's like more of like an affectionate, like, nickname.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
But
You see that poster that came out?
Oh
think it was
yeah.
poster
Let me
where
go find that because that poster
him
was
and Luke putting together like using the Force to put a lightsaber together.
Yeah, it was.
That was
I think it was
pretty cool.
a yellow lightsaber too, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, I don't know what the fucking differences are. So
There's really like no massive difference, I would argue. I think the big thing with it,
green jacket, gold jacket. Who gives a fuck?
yeah, no, I know I'm trying to find it here. I'm on Mikey Sutton's group page. I thought he posted it.
I'm watching. I'm watching. There was a little delay. I'm seeing my ass on the. Wow, my ass was just right on your stream.
That's okay.
When I was plugging in that laptop.
Mad Max here says, "Hey, watching in bed, my favorite place for Hollywood after dark." Nice.
Ooh.
Yeah, Max is. It's late for Max. He's awake.
I hope you have your personal lubricant with you.
Yeah, it's hidden. It's hidden in his Doctor Doom mask, is what it is. No, Max is a good guy. He's a good guy. Let me just I'm trying to find that Luke Skywalker one. I saw it earlier
Dude,
today.
I couldn't even. I was on comicbook.com and it wouldn't let me save the picture.
They're doing that now in some of these places.
Why is it doing this to me?
Like, why don't you let me save? And they're like, because you touch yourself at night and it makes God cry.
Yeah. But it was a cool poster. It was a cool poster.
Yeah. Hold on, I got it right here. No, it's not the one I wanted to bring up. All right. I'm like getting all quick. I click too fast and my computer can't play catch up just well enough. All right. So this is the image here of Luke and Grogu. This isn't officially.
That's what you mean by yellow, because it's a yellow kyber crystal.
It's a yellow kyber crystal. Yeah, so they're doing
I know
that.
some things.
You're like, I'm just a casual viewer, but that's a fucking yellow kyber crystal. Like, where the fuck that thing come from?
So dope, though. See, yeah, like this is like, you're right, dude. It feels Star Warsy.
Yeah. Oh no, it absolutely does. Like, that's one of the coolest things about that is just like they did a lot to like really make it, you can tell that they're embracing this stuff.
Yeah.
In the way. Sorry, go ahead.
Do you think Sebastian Stan could pull it off, young Luke?
Yeah, I do. I think you really could. However, it's funny you say that because I kind of want to bring this up right here. As this has been floating around now for the last couple weeks. Actually, I didn't realize this. So apparently, so there's this they did the deep fake, right? Because this is and Luke Skywalker on the left there.
Yeah,
looks kind of like it wasn't the best. It wasn't the best. Someone
it
did.
Was not the best.
It was not the best. And then he had this guy Shamook do the deep fake.
Okay.
And then apparently now he has been hired apparently by Lucasfilm.
No way.
For the position of senior facial capture artist.
Senior?
Yeah. So this guy he did this.
Junior?
He apparently so. Yeah. So you bring this up and it's like
him?
This is all what he did. I'll just play it here. I just have it on mute. I mean, you can look to see that like it looks a little bit better on the right. The right is him, is what Shamook did. It's the deep fake. And then so you get to see that.
It looks a little cleaner.
Still not perfect.
Still, you'll never I don't think you'll ever be able to get it perfect.
No, you never no.
Well, not yet. But, I mean 10 years from now,
But right there, that gesture looked like Luke. That gesture looked like Luke from Return of the Jedi. It felt like that to me.
Right.
And it does. The more I look at it, the more I'm like, yeah, that looks like it's
right there. Right, that moment that just passed. That's good. That close up was good.
Yeah, that looks pretty good.
Shoot, that's good.
And that was, and he used like like just an app to do it. I think so. It's like
he did that. Well, and then that brings us back to like the whole Superman mustache bullshit. like with the
Yeah, I know all that money to remove
all
a
that.
mustache
Oh my god! And like,
just to make Henry Cavill look like Adam Baldwin.
and then you get these guys doing this stuff on their compute on their on their uh, self-built computer.
Yeah, they're doing it from their fucking basement,
Yeah,
like a bunch. I mean, no, but it
it
looks
looks
really
great.
solid. And like what I find to be interesting here, just about this shot, is you can see that Fennec here is out of focus.
Yeah,
You can see that she's out. It's because like the lens that they're using a wide angle lens,
yeah.
and she's just on like the cusp of that. So I mean, you really wouldn't notice by looking at her, but ultimately the focal point here is Mando.
It's Mando. Yeah.
I think were we talking about the deep fake, like the lighting of the volume, because this was all shot in volume.
Yeah, so I mean, I've talked about it with a lot of people, but the I mean, yeah, I think it was me and you and I,
Yeah.
because I think the volume for the Mandalorian. I mean, you were posed with this huge problem, right? With his character, his suit was a literal mirror, right? And if you're using green screen, you always have this color. What do they call it? This like it's like a fuck.
What is it? You kind of lost me with that one. The
There, like,
color.
say you're using green screen.
Yeah.
You have spill. You have
Okay.
colors.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
You have a lot of spill coming off of the green screens, and you would have to in post production, you have to solve that issue with Mando having a literal mirror as a costume. That poses a lot of time, and the volume solved that issue because it gave it, like, now not you're not going in post production and solving the green screen spill. You're going in post production, and the actual lighting from the environment that you were building is on him already, and the lighting is perfect. Like,
Yep.
it's awesome. It's amazing what the volume was able to do.
Oh, it's probably my favorite filmmaking breakthrough, and like in the last
And
the
all
last
we had to
decade or
do
so.
was get the Lion King out of it. That's it.
That's it. But it's
That's
not only
it.
it's not only that though. It's not only that. What they also did with this too is the Unreal 4 engine technology that they use to build out the digital sets.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like they can warp it and tweak it and fix it however they want while they're live in studio.
Yeah. Exactly.
So, I want the sun over there because we get better lighting over here. All right, can we increase the intensity of the light and whatever? I mean,
yeah.
And then imagine when I don't know if you've seen the Unreal 5 tech demos yet, but the Unreal 5 tech
Yes, I
demos or
have.
something,
I have.
those are like, fuck, dude. Like,
It looks so unreal. Dude,
yeah.
it looks amazing. Like, half the time I can't tell it's not real. Like, it's so it's crazy. It's we're entering this new age where, like, you're almost not going to be able to tell, like, what's real and what's not real. And I think, like, with the volume, what it also did was it brought together, instead of having your writers here, then they write the scripts, they finish it. Then you do some previs for, like, some scenes, then you shoot what you need to, and then it goes into post production. The volume kind of brought it all together, with the exception of the writing, I suppose. But post production is now working on set, right? Like,
Yeah.
the team and it allowed for, like, a lot of creativity and a lot of, like, okay, here's an issue, like, let's solve it now, right? And I think the volume is the future of filmmaking. Do you know?
Warner Brothers has one now, right?
Well, I was gonna say, do you know if that technology is licensed? But, like, do you know if it was trademarked?
I don't know if it's trademarked or not. I think, like, if they were using the same setup, then maybe, because I know Disney has the one in LA. They have one in Atlanta.
They have
one
in Vegas.
They have one in. They put one in Vegas now too.
I mean, my one of my co-hosts lives in Vegas. He says there's one in Vegas. So,
they must have. Well, I'm sure they're building many of them, because I mean, what I heard,
he
like,
bullshitting me. I have no idea.
well, I do know that they have one in Sydney and London and LA. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure they have one in Atlanta because they shoot all the Marvel shit out there.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure they have one in Atlanta. I wouldn't be surprised if ultimately they end up building one in New York. I would assume that because Netflix is going to be taking over in Albuquerque, that probably a fair amount of that is going to end up being, they're going to start building their own in Albuquerque over there. And I mean, Kevin Feige just bought a house in Sydney because
Yes,
of how
he
they
did.
handled COVID. They're moving a lot of the productions out there. So it makes a lot of sense to build it out there too. And Disney realizes the value in the tech. I do know that the Batman did
Used it,
utilize some
yeah.
of that, and that would have been renting out the space from Disney, I think.
Yeah. Yep.
So like
Magic Meta.
yeah, I know, right?
Magic
I'm
Meta.
looking forward to watching the Batman. It says special thanks to the Walt Disney Company.
Oh my god, it will.
And then that's gonna end up like breaking people. Like, what? No, what do you mean? No, like what? And then
Jeremy.
yeah. It's so crazy how they're going to be tackling all this going forward. I do believe that it's the future. I think it does cut down on some costs. It allows them to focus on the filmmaking and the storytelling aspect of it. They're gonna make it bigger and bolder. Like
Yeah, of course, dude. Imagine like I don't know how big the first one was, but imagine one that was like multi. You know what I mean? Like there was 4 different sets that all combined together. Like it's just literally Tatooine. It's all Tatooine. Like if you talk to the actors that worked on set, they say that like part of the problem about green screen, like when you're acting with a green screen, is you're acting with 2 other people. All 3 of you are thinking different. Like say you're acting in all right, you're in a boat and you're on the ocean and you're supposed to be rocking and waving. All 3 of you have, it doesn't matter how on par you are with each other, all of you have a different vision in your head for where you are and what you're seeing. The volume allowed each person to be able to experience the world that they're acting in, right? It wasn't just a green screen that they kind of had to fill in the gaps for themselves and guess kind of like with what the director was saying it could look like or it will look like, or take a look at this previs I got. This is kind of what you're going to be. This is what it will look like. No, for once, like the actors walk on set and now you're in Star Wars or you're in wherever, whatever set piece you're doing. And I think that's going to be super beneficial for actors and for the teams that work on film.
No, I completely agree. I think that's going to be a lot of, it's going to be very interesting to see where they take the technology. Yeah. And then again, where it's going to be a decade from now as technology rapidly, they can do they're probably going to have multiple warehouses, multiple stages, look at like the 007 stage in, Pinewood Studios in London. It's like one of the biggest stages in the world. Someone's going to build something like that and they're going to build it in the volume tech and it's going to be all LED across, at least 3/4 LED, probably even with maybe full LED and the ability to like have a retractable wall or something. But they're going to be able to do a lot with this stuff and it's going to cut costs. It's just going to cut costs.
Yeah.
As it goes on, and we'll be able to get some cool things out of it. So I really am hoping for a lot of more, I would say, mature-ish, I don't say mature, like more original content. As much as I love Mando and I love Batman and the other projects that are going to be working on this technology, I think we could have a lot of fun with it. I think there could be something more original that could come out of it. And I'm telling you, probably my number one pick for that would be Neil Blomkamp would probably be the best guy to utilize that.
Wow,
because his short films are amazing. Before he made it big with District 9 with Tetraval and Alive and Joburg. Now he's got Oats Studio and Oats is the stuff he puts out there is pretty wicked. And he's got a new movie coming called Demonic, which is coming out on I think theaters and VOD August 20th, I think, and I'll be definitely checking that one out.
I've always been a Neil Blomkamp fan. Well, always in the sense of when I found out who he was.
Yeah. For me it was before District 9. For me it was back in 07 when they were getting ready to release Halo 3 and we started seeing the Halo live action short films.
Yeah.
That he directed and you're like, "Oh, that's the guy going to do the movie? Hell yeah." And then, I've talked about that on an episode of Patio Commentary. I broke that down, and it's like the stupidest thing. It was all ego, and Fox and it was ego on Microsoft's part, to be honest with you, because they wanted full control effectively, and they wanted $175 million budget for like 2007, which is a lot of money for back then. And they weren't willing to put up any of the money, but they wanted, but Universal and Fox decided to co-finance, where Universal would handle I believe the domestic distribution, Fox would handle international.
Okay.
And the whole thing fell apart. And that's where, like, when it finally did die, Peter Jackson was like, okay, Neil, we're going to make whatever movie you want to make. And they scraped together $30 million for District 9, and it was up for like Best Picture.
Dude, that movie was insanely good.
It was. What the hell happened with Chappie and Elysium?
I mean, okay, I'll stand behind you with Chappie.
Yeah. Oh, Elysium wasn't terrible. I'm not saying Elysium was good.
Okay, because Elysium was okay. It wasn't the best film I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It was original, I suppose. It was cool. It had its moments, but I don't think the rewatchability is there.
Charlotte Copley as like a weird rapey assassin was like was an interesting take on that. Was an interesting character.
Yeah.
And Matt Damon, his approach was very interesting as well. And I thought that I thought the concept was fine. I thought the execution was fine. Something with the story just kind of fell apart. And it just, like, either in the editing, it just failed to reach what they were trying to do with it there. I've never read the original script, so I couldn't tell you. Right. But then you watch something like Chappie, and it's like, there's not one real likable human character in that movie. Yeah. Everyone was abject. Even Dev Patel was like really kind of shitty.
Yeah.
I
hated Chappie, to be honest.
Okay.
I couldn't stand the movie. And it mostly derived from that band that was in it.
Oh, D. Antwoord? Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I know.
I couldn't stand I couldn't focus.
Yeah, I think I thought it was Matthew Lillard for like the longest time. I thought the main guy was like Matthew Lillard, and it was just like like a James Franco Spring Breakers type performance.
Right.
Is what I thought it was. And then I'm like, oh no, that's an actual person, and that they're in a band. And and the band, I mean, the music isn't terrible. I listened to some of the music, but and then they've broken up, and I think they've since broken up, and I remember reading about that and going like, well, Chappie got its revenge. They just that movie, because here's the thing.
What about a District 9 follow-up?
Well, they've been talking about that. Apparently, IGN reported on it the other day.
No way.
Yeah. IGN reported on it the other day. Let's see if I could find the tweet here, because a friend of mine commented on it, and then
District.
It's like 10. District 10. Oh, you mean like the one movie we've been waiting for a long time?
Yeah.
That
and a literal sequel to Cloverfield.
Oh, don't even get me started on that. We'll be here all night.
Listen, I like the other Cloverfields, don't get me wrong, but I want a legitimate sequel to the second one. To the first one.
Yeah. Okay. No, I'm in agreement on that one.
Oh, it's literally called District 10. I was just joking.
So according to this here, which is I just want to make sure. This is an actual interview that they had with Neil Blomkamp. It says here that speaking to IGN after Blomkamp announced he's joined game developer Gunzilla to make a multiplayer shooter, he touched on the recently announced sequel to District 9. He says the script continues to be written. It's looking good. It took a decade to figure out, to come up with the reason why to make that film, as opposed to just make a sequel, which, hey, look, that's actually a very fair statement to make.
That's like a James Cameron type statement.
Yeah. And honestly, with a person as revolutionary as Neil Blomkamp, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
But as we can see here, it will be based on a topic in American history.
I don't understand that statement though.
Yeah, maybe they'll
District
expand into this one here.
Will be based on a topic in American history. Like, that doesn't shoot out to me as making sense.
Okay, so the article goes on to say here, as for what the reason is, it seems that while South African history, most particularly the apartheid, was the impetus to make District 9, District 10 will be looking to the events in the United States, saying there was a topic in American history that the second I realized that it would fit into the world of District 9, it felt like an awesome way to do a sequel. So yeah, it continues to be developed and it's getting a lot closer, but he did not go into...
I hope it's not like slavery or anything like that.
Well, I mean, like, yeah, it's... Well,
It's
I mean, like,
probably-
it could be slavery or it could be 9/11.
Yeah.
You know, and then someone's like, "Oh, watch it be based on racism." Like, you clearly don't know the origins of District 9 then.
Yeah. Listen, I hope he doesn't do... I have faith that he wouldn't, but I don't want this project to turn into something like that. Like,
no, I mean, like, I have, you know, the apartheid aspect of District 9 does make sense considering the fact where Blomkamp grew up, because he's from South Africa. Mm-hmm. Right. So he grew up in the apartheid. That's his take on it. In the original short film, Alive in Joburg, when they interview people about the aliens and like, there's actual, like, you can sense like there's actual, like, you know, like hatred towards these aliens. Like, oh, there's some pretty good fucking actors. They were real people that they thought they were being interviewed for a documentary about Nigerian refugees.
No way.
And so yeah. So like what
he
you, so
told
that,
them?
no,
He told him that?
No. That because there was a lot of Nigerian refugees in South Africa. And so the people, if you've ever seen it live in Joburg, which you should go watch it, by the way, that particular short film, when they're interviewing the people for the doc, they thought they were being interviewed about the Nigerians.
So they didn't understand the concept of what they were being interviewed for. Like, they
thought they were being interviewed for a documentary about the Nigerian refugees. But what it was is they took those real responses and they turned it into something about these aliens. So the people, they didn't know what they didn't know what it was going to ultimately be. But that kind of like realism is one of the things that like really kind of prompted this. Right. And it's funny. Like, I found it to be kind of funny because they made the Nigerians like the bad guys in District 9. Like, the Nigerians moved into the district and were trying to eat the aliens to become part of them.
Yeah.
You know? And then it's like, and then even when the movie came out, because like the government of Nigeria felt, you know, they got real angry at the movie. They banned District 9 in Nigeria. So, you know, I mean, I don't think anyone, whatever, but, you know, the rest of us watched District 9 and we're like, oh, wow, that's an interesting commentary on the apartheid.
Yeah.
And elements like that, but it's done. And that's why science fiction is why science fiction is, because it can touch upon these issues in a way that the vast majority of people will not fucking understand. They just won't get it.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, I can't even believe. I'm just happy that they're actually working on something, because I honestly I did not know that. I am pleasantly shocked, to be honest.
Well, I see here real quick here. I want to I get one super chat and then we got one talking about District 10. Quick here. H. Bart says, gonna watch all Craig Bond films before the new film. Also watch Dr. No on Saturday. Sean Connery is the definitive Bond. Yeah. I mean, I love Craig movies, but Connery is Connery.
He was the Bond that when people think of Bond.
Yeah. James Bond. Yeah, very much. Let's see. Tim Terrell here says, I'm not a fan of Neil Blomkamp. He's not revolutionary in District 9 stunk. Wow. Get the fuck out of here. Whatever, dude.
Whatever.
McLeod here with 5 Canadian. Thank you, McLeod. Says, if I had to guess, it could be about the migrant caravan scare from the last couple of years. Maybe, you know, like
that's also
that would be something about, where would the aliens go?
Right. That's actually not a bad idea.
Because remember, at the end, they were still moved into District 10.
Yeah.
So it's like, where would they go after District 10? Because it's not going to, I mean, because at this point, it could also be about, I got it, dude. The reservations.
Like the Indian reservations?
Yeah.
Huh.
How do you relocate them permanently?
Oh.
That's what it's going to be about. If I'm guessing, it's going to probably be about the Native Americans
what they
and the
did to the
reservations.
Native Americans.
Yeah. Like putting them up on.
Actually, you don't think that's a little too similar?
I mean, well, the reservations. Apparently, I missed a super chat here. I didn't think I missed it. Oh,
maybe the aliens will start running casinos.
Jeez. Oh, there's going to be a lot of subtle, whatever they choose to focus on. Yeah, you're gonna watch. It's gonna be like a bunch of alien brothels and alien casinos, and
Fuck you.
there's
Fuck you. I'll just take your money then. Just take all your
this.
money.
I don't know.
You
I'm
fucking
hoping.
addictive pieces of shit.
I think it's like I think they're gonna I think they're gonna tackle it with I don't want to say class because it's clearly not going to be class.
Right.
It's gonna be very crass and on the nose a little bit, but that's kind of one of the things I think that worked for District 9 because we showed it in a way that or they showed it to us in a way that was being this way to like what we deem to be a non-human entity.
Right.
And as a result of that, we don't look at it through the same lens of empathy. So we're like watching them, beat up these people and like kill people and break limbs. And it's like, oh yeah, fucking aliens, give a shit. And then you're like, oh, it's an allegory.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm a bad person.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. I did miss this one here from Rational Skeptic, man. I'm sorry. $2 here says pop culture critic made a video defending the last. Of course he fucking did.
Okay, I was gonna say that's not me, right?
No. Your pop culture corner. Pop culture critic is, if I recall correctly, that's Jonathan McIntosh.
Okay.
And Jonathan McIntosh used to be the partner behind Anita Sarkeesian and Feminist Frequency back in the day. He's the more radical of the pair. She was the more capitalist of the pair.
Okay.
And they eventually had a split, and her content literally just went to crap. Like all of her content that was like, very, very, very propaganda-y. That was all him. He edited it. He wrote the script. He did everything. She was the face.
Okay.
And then when he exited the show, when he exited the program, and he took his skills with him as well as his ideology, her content went to hell. It just, they don't even do anything anymore. And she still pulls in like fucking $400,000 a year. We're in the wrong business, Ty.
What?
We're in the wrong business.
Yeah, I know, right?
We clearly need to be more propagandists.
Fuck it. Me and Gyro, we're just gonna team up and we're gonna spread hatred amongst the world, and we're gonna talk about how Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers is our overlord, and how Kathleen Kennedy is gonna be fired tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, okay. I want to address what Anthony here is saying. He says, why is it bad for someone to defend The Last Jedi? People can like what they like.
My co-host, one of them, my co-host loves The Last Jedi. And you know what I mean? He has his reasons. I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's bad for someone to defend The Last Jedi. I just don't think, for me, and this is just me, I don't think it tells a good Star Wars story. I don't think I don't. It didn't feel like it fit properly into that puzzle. I don't know, but that's just me. So
yeah, it's I don't mind people defending The Last Jedi, but it's also like, how do you defend it? Is it the like, oh, you're just a man baby, there's not Star Wars because it's got a female in the lead? Like, no, I can pinpoint everything I dislike about The Last Jedi, and I have repeatedly. I'm not going to do it right now because we don't have an hour and a half.
right.
But it's like it's not hard to pinpoint why that movie failed, and a lot of that again boils down to, I think we talked about it before. Was like cut the 5 seconds.
I didn't even no one's ever said that to me, or no one's ever said that. 5 seconds could have saved. I think that should be a quote somewhere. Honestly,
yeah, 5 seconds could have saved.
That's why
Star Wars.
when you said that, I was like, "What?" I like my jaw kind of hit. That quote should be somewhere. 5 seconds.
I'll put that on a
could have
T-shirt
saved-
somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, 5 seconds could have saved the Star Wars franchise.
You know what else can save the Star Wars franchise? Gina Carano shot first.
Oh my god.
I'd get so busted for selling that T-shirt. So
That's
there
why
we go.
any of the T-shirts that I make that like I can't sell to people, I just order one for myself, and I call it.
Yeah, I need to do more of that. But then I realized I already have a lot of T-shirts, and then that ends up being a big problem here.
I made a Zack Snyder Justice League T-shirt. I really thought like I was gonna get a knock on the door, and I ordered one for myself because I didn't want to. Dude, try to go find a Zack Snyder Justice League shirt online. Besides, okay, but
Besides ink to the people.
besides ink to the people.
Yeah.
It's really impossible.
Well, they're
And
not. You're not able to find them, right? Like, I
you're
mean, they
not.
were never
It's
sold
there's
officially.
they were never really like sold officially, right? So I made one for myself, and then on the back it has my logo, and then it says "Restore the Snyderverse." And like this was like, a month before the Snyder Cut came out, so like we were all like high on fucking Snyder content, and like I just made the shirt with the the poster, the three posters that he put out.
Yeah.
I did the middle one with just the Justice League logo. I wear it on some streams. You'll see it eventually, or if you haven't already. But like, I made that, and like, I would love to have sold it, and like given the money to charity, but I would have probably gotten fucking sued or something.
Yeah, I would have. Again, that's kind of the whole thing as well. You might have the best of intentions. Government, they don't care.
Speaking of which, so I think it was so the motion comic is back on.
Oh yeah. So before we dive into the motion comic, I have a couple of super chats to get to.
Nope.
Just because I want to make sure we don't get away from that one. So it says here, McLeod, $10 Canadian, thank you. Says, have you ever heard of a channel called Forced Adversity? Became a new fan of it recently, has been taking a lot of digs at the fandom menace and calling out their BS, but recently taking on Comicsgate. I think I've heard the name Forced. Oh. Oh my God. Okay. All right.
I don't know about any of this stuff.
Like, I mean,
I work in pop culture.
Yeah. But this is like old shit though, dude. Like, you've heard of Gamergate, right?
Well, I brought you in to explain.
Yeah. And that was almost 7 years ago. You know what I mean? Like on the internet, like this is like old school. We're talking like centuries old shit on the internet now. Okay. Comicsgate is, think of it like a pushback against the quote unquote SJWs in comics. And there's been, look, I think you would probably agree that comic sales have been shitty.
Yeah, they've
dropped.
They're bad right now.
They're very bad. And so what happens is a lot of people, like there's a guy named Ethan Van Sciver who isn't a professional artist, who has done a lot of work. Well, like he's worked with Jeff Johns and he's done a lot of stuff. He kind of came out as like the leader of Comicsgate. He's totally like a hardcore Republican, anti-SJW, real true piece of shit. I do not like Ethan Van Sciver. Nothing about his politics. I think him as a human is repugnant and whatever. That's my take. He knows how I feel about him, so that's fine. And so he kind of like, but he started like this basically selling his own comics. He'd run his own Indiegogos and he would deliver to his credit. And he'll put out a run, and you know what? Like he'll get a couple $100,000, to like produce it.
$100,000?
It's like there's a lot of money in like right wing comics.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
a couple $100,000.
Yeah, I mean, like, look, I'm probably not explaining this like in any way accurately, and I'll get called out in the comments, and that's fine. I want to make that abundantly clear. I haven't followed Comicsgate now in a number of years, so I don't fully know how far. I just know that a lot of those guys are like not good people. Like they're, but there's a lot of money in comic books.
Okay, but you haven't explained to me what Comicsgate is.
Let me see if I can just find a.
So Comicsgate is what? People starting their own comic books?
Yeah, it's kind of like okay, so according to Wikipedia, because they have of course you do. It says here, Comicsgate is a campaign in opposition to diversity and progressivism in North American superhero comic book industry. Targeting the creators hired, the characters depicted in the stories told, which proponents allege has led to a decline in both quality and sales. The name is derived from Gamergate, a similar movement related to video games. That is not accurate at all. I don't know who wrote this article, but that's not accurate. Its members presented as a consumer protest, primarily advocating their views on social media. Some have produced books intended to reflect the group's values. It is part of the alt-right movement and has been described by commentators as a harassment campaign, which targets women, people of color, and LGBT folk in the comic book industry. It has been blamed by critics for vandalism of one store and threats of violence. I feel like that is very loaded of a description. But it's basically like, and there are assholes, by the way. I'm not defending any of the assholes, but there are, you'll go back and look at things like Angela Queen of Hell, right? That run back in a couple years ago. And there was a line where like yeah, I think it was like Thor's grandfather like was talking about like something about like the Gaza Strip, I think, or something that was going on. And it was just, I don't know, like it was just, it's all anti SJW nonsense.
Okay.
So that's a lot. Well, I should say, like, okay. There was an X-Men comic a number of years ago where they took the core 5 X-Men, right, and they brought them into the future to meet their future selves.
Yeah.
And you had Iceman, and Iceman is like, you know, he's a ladies' man in the future, but young Iceman is apparently gay. And this is not like a multiverse thing. This is like them in the future, right?
So he
And
went from.
so somehow, yeah. Well, here's how the conversation played out, and this is really why a lot of people got mad at this. So Jean Grey is talking with Bobby, and she's like, and he's like, man, like my future self can, like, you know, I'm going to paraphrase here, can really get a lot of sex. And she's like, but you're gay, Bobby. And he's like, I'm not gay. I mean, clearly in the future, I'm like smashing puss. And she's like, no, Bobby, you're gay. And he's like, I don't think I'm gay. And she's like, no, Bobby, you're gay. And then she just keeps repeating it.
So
She
you
just
know
keeps
he's bi.
So no, like, so
Right?
the idea though is because she's a fucking telepath. So like, did she inception, you know, Bobby being gay? He's like, I'm not gay. She's like, no, Bobby, you're gay. And then, oh no. And then at the end he goes, oh yeah, you're right. I'm gay.
Oh my God, she inceptioned him.
She inceptioned him. Like, and that was something that people were like, what the fuck is this shit? And it's just like, again, I'm not against, like, you always have to like preface
She's
that.
Jean Gay now.
Oh, that's the thing. I'm just saying it's like on that front, it gets pretty wild. But thank you for that one, McLeod. Anyway, I probably totally butchered that whole statement too. And then HWAD's here with another $2, man. It says Ryan should have done the Rise of Skywalker. HWAD's trolling. But I'll tell you this, to be fair, he's not
Ryan.
entirely wrong. Right? If Ryan Johnson would have done the Rise of Skywalker, it at least would have been more consistent. Would have been even worse, but it would have been more consistent. You know, if you want continuity, that's how you would have got it. Okay, so TW here says, turns out they're actually from an alternate universe. Oh, okay. All right. So there we go on that one.
Saggy
I just
Bones
remember-
doesn't know who I am anymore.
Anyway, Saggy is here. Says, hey guys, just stopping by to say hi. LOL, it's Among Us night on Discord. All right, well, go get out of here, you sus bastard. Okay. Let's get into the thing we were going to talk about.
Okay.
Let me just bring that up here. So, so as we were talking about this before, there are some interesting new developments in regards to the Dreamscapes of Justice League, a motion comic. Just as a quick update, so I was given a privacy complaint by someone who I believe, and I am of the opinion that it was Matthew Miranda, because it just seems to make the most amount of sense. Former podcast producer of Lightcast Podcast, the other day issued a whole bevy, allegedly issued a bevy of privacy complaints against anyone talking about him. That is the theory, at least. And so a couple pieces popped up. One was this new thing today from a guy named Deli Can Comics. So he says here, I spent a few months on a project with the VFX guy for the Lightcast motion comic crap that's going on. Now, this is where it gets, so this is kind of a big thing. But the thing to remember here is what he's talking about is the VFX guy with this next statement, not Matthew from Lightcast.
Okay.
He says here, this guy lied about pretty much everything to get people into this project that he started. He started off by lying and saying he had a producer that was funding this. So this is also the VFX guy.
Okay.
And so then he goes on to say programs he uses, like, he used for the VFX, said we had a $50,000 budget. Things started off okay for the first 2 months, quickly turned to crap. And then, it's kind of like, I don't quite know all of what I was very confused by this. But the idea there, though, essentially is that this is the guy who's doing the new motion comic.
So he's speaking about the dude that's doing the new one.
Yeah. And
the guy who said that they had a $50,000 budget.
yeah, but he was saying they had a $50,000 budget, I think, for the whatever VFX project this guy was working on. He does clarify at different points. I'll just look up his but he's also a new account for May 2021. So it is something there to consider there. Let's see here. Yeah, he says, just to clear any mistakes, the project I worked on was not the motion comic.
Okay.
So that was the thing a lot of people are messaging me on, because they were like, what's going on with this? And I was trying to get to the bottom of it, because it's a really it's a very fascinating thing.
Right. Well, because there's a new one coming out called Can you remind me what the title is?
Yeah, it's like Justice League the motion comic, I think.
No, there was like something God in there.
Yeah.
Fall of God.
Yeah,
Something
Fall of the Gods or whatever.
Something like
And
that.
someone sent me. Hold on, somebody sent me the other guy.
And the font is this. It dropped when we were on your show. That
Yeah,
night.
yeah. Well, no, it's the exact same
Same font. Like it's hard to believe that it's not the same exact thing.
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same.
Rebrand.
It's the same guy. Yeah, I think. But somebody had sent me. Someone sent me the link to this guy, to the other guy. I just forget who. So my bad. But there's been this kind of stuff that's been going on. And this guy, apparently, I'm just trying to see if I could find more of that stuff. Okay. He's talking about the Constantine thing. All right. Yeah, okay. So it was a guy named Vega. All right. He says, I just worked with Vega on a project that he started, which was then abandoned when this motion comic thing came along. Okay. Yeah, see, because I was asking him here too. I'm like, I'm trying to follow your thread and all this stuff here. And so he doesn't really go into he talks about whatever. So obviously when it comes to this whole situation, the guy who's running it now,
Yep.
right? The guy who's doing it now, this is the guy who was a liar on this other project, right? And
That's always a good thing.
yeah. So as the whole thing with Matt falls apart, as we've all seen, of course, last week, we can definitely get an idea for what's going on. So let me get to the other thing here that I know is real. And I know that this is the thing really worth paying attention to, because a lot of people were talking about this other guy first. I was sent this DM thread, and this is from Lightcast on this is from Lightcast. I believe this is his Twitter, or no, I think this is Insta. And he got this here from July 9th, talking about we got clearance actually. So whoever he's talking to is not connected to the project. It's not connected to the motion comic.
Okay.
And he says here, the guy here says, I was going to suggest I have a contact with Warner Brother Legal and Warner Media for LATM. And then he says, awesome. Then we are definitely going to have you on board. And he goes, all right, forward me the clearance so I could review it. I figured you would do the diligent thing to get it cleared, since you're using Ray's voice and are flirting with fair use. And he says, we're definitely flirting hard. We'll get those. I will get those later. Our producer had it all. Well, who was the producer?
Right.
Matthew was the executive producer. Was it the other guy? Or
Nicotina?
It wasn't Nicotina.
Was producer?
I don't think it was Nicotina. Right?
I don't think it was Nicotina.
Yeah, I don't think it was him at all. Now, he goes on to say here, again, this is from July 9th. He says, we were instructed to identify it as a non-profit film that builds awareness for AFSP and educates fans on Restore the Snyderverse campaign that provides information about Snyder's world. This will keep it in fair use play under under the 1976 Section 107 of the Copyrights Act that will be placed on all videos and in the film in the beginning. This makes me feel that they did reach out and this is what they got told back. All right. This is what I feel that they got.
Okay.
Okay, but then fast forward to July 18th, to just a week ago. And so this is him on his personal account, talking to the same person again. It says, letting you know it's not public yet, but we got shit down by Warner Brothers. It was bigger than we thought. To protect the actors involved, our lawyer informed us to pull from the project instead of still doing it. And he goes, so then the friend here says, what happened? Did you reach out or did they reach out to you? And he says, we did our due diligence and they reached out to the lawyer and that was pretty much it. The amount of toxicity just spewed it more. But then the big thing here, he says here, we filed our Warner Brothers rights claim months ago, and today they responded to the lawyer in email. So they filed it months ago, but then right over here, he's like, we got the clearance on July 9th. But they hadn't gotten it yet by July 18th.
Huh.
So and if the last thing he says here is we can continue to work on it, but cannot protect the artists and actors involved because of the talent part of it. We decided to end it in general. So this wasn't talked about in that statement from the other day.
No.
This wasn't talked about at
Still
all.
Rise, I suppose. I guess. To not play devil's advocate, I suppose they generalized and said that due to countless legalities. Listen, I knew it was legality from the beginning. You can trace my words.
Yeah,
I've been saying it since I heard. Warner Brothers is not going to let this go. They're not going to let this get out. They're not. It's just simply not going to happen. You're using their characters. They don't give a fuck about if the money's going to AFSP or not. They don't.
Yeah.
Cool. They trust me, they don't. If anything, the money's going to them. That's what's the real issue. And they did not greenlight the project. And they already have a bone to pick with the Snyder Cut fandom in the first place, right? Like the Snyder Cut fandom has not been kind to Warner Brothers at all. So you think that Warner Brothers is just going to be like, okay, go ahead, do it. Make this continuation in comic book form. Use our characters. Inspire your art with our art. Go ahead.
Yeah, I know.
What kind of fucking crazy world are you living in? That's not how things work.
No, they definitely. I mean, I would argue that like there is like
All
it doesn't.
of the gods is the new.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure I could get that up here. So this is what. I was looking at the. Oh yeah, hold on. Oh, I had the wrong. My bad. I had the wrong screen up. I thought I had the window and not the screen.
Yeah.
My whoopsie. My bad. Did you guys even see the tweets? You may not even see the tweets or the messages back and forth. That would be my bad right there.
We didn't see those.
Oh, I didn't even realize.
We thought you were just reading it.
No, I'm sorry. I mean, that was what it said, but I've got it up here. I just StreamYard.
So look, you can't tell me that logo isn't exactly.
Oh no, that logo is exactly the same. That logo is exactly the same here. It's just a little bit, they added some red to it,
added
whatever.
Some light. They literally added some light and changed. So instead, the title is at the bottom and motion comic is at the top. Whereas before, it was reversed and Dreamscapes.
Yeah.
Like, dude, this is the same thing. I'm telling you. Again, my intuitions have not been wrong since the start of this. This is.
But look at this here, Feora, right? Feora down here from Man of Steel. So in the tweets from the guy from earlier, this Declan guy, whatever.
Yeah.
Daily Can, whatever. He talks about how they wanted to get the Feora. Okay. So he says here, we would be in the middle of thinking of story ideas, and he would start talking about this actress who played Feora in Man of Steel. When he was talking about her, he was trying to get everyone to agree on hiring some porn actor and giving him a leading role. So then if you come back over here and you look at this, right, this is from new director Paolo Stefano and Luis Bedregal, who is, I think, the VFX Vega guy. The story will tell the post-Justice League events where our heroes will join forces once again to defeat dangerous god Darkseid. Feora Ul and past villains will return to the fight.
Yeah,
so,
I cut it off a little bit. I'm sorry.
Oh no, it's no, it's okay. The whole point though is that Feora, like the guy is obsessed with Feora.
So
So that's the whole point. He's obsessed with Feora in Man of Steel, and then here she was cast off,
let's
whatever.
hire a porn actress.
And then he wants to bring her back on this one. So, and okay, according to the TW here, that he was the VFX guy. He was VFX Vega, yeah, on the motion comic.
Okay.
So, I mean, this guy now is like going, I'm making my own. He's like, I'm making my own fucking motion comic. I'm doing my own fucking thing. And then I'm gonna bring in Feora here. So that's
give me a leading role.
yeah. Like, hey, baby, you want to come be in my movie, baby? You want to be in my movie?
Okay, so let me just to clear this up.
Let me hear, and then here's the tweets, just to be the direct messages. You don't see the information of the person, but you guys can then see that it is the thing. Here, I'll bring it up full screen. There we go. So you guys can see that there. It's I just want to make sure you guys can see it.
You sure not going to get privacy claimed for this?
This was sent to me, which means I have every right to discuss it.
Okay.
So good luck on that one, man. And it wasn't just sent to me, by the way. This was sent to a lot of other people.
Okay.
So this was sent to a lot of other people, and it was passed along to me. Yeah. So let's see here. Okay. All right. So Ill Liff here says, not the same thing. It's the new script, original fan story, and Vega is the one working on it, and he is a young Spanish kid who's great at VFX, but had nothing to do with anything behind the scenes on Dreamscapes. Okay, well, no, I don't think he had anything to do with behind the scenes on the Dreamscapes. But there was that person came out today talking about him on another project, and people just kind of ran together with that thing. So I think that's kind of what it boils down to. But it just goes to show you that there's like Matthew here saying we got clearance, and then this whoever he's talking to is like, all right, well, he clearly knows contact with Warner Legal, and then he says like, forward me the information, which he was never forwarded the information, and then they said they got shut down by Warner Brothers.
Okay.
And then it's like, what happened, and he's like, well, we filed our rights claim months ago, and today they responded to it. So, 11 days beforehand, or 9 days beforehand, he was saying they got clearance.
Yeah.
So it's not that anyone's, I don't know. That's the kind of weird thing about that is that the kid hardly speaks English, for Christ's sake. I don't know who's trying to make him a fall guy. It's ridiculous. I get you, man, on that one. I do. Are you still reading it, Ty?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
I was. I'm sorry.
Okay. I just want to make sure.
All right. You're good.
All right. So, okay. So, I mean, that's kind of the whole, it's a weird thing. It's just the whole thing's weird. I don't think they're trying to make him the fall guy for that. I think they're just trying to speak to the whole notion of, I think they're just going to try to speak to the whole notion of how fucked the project was, right? On that Twitter thread, but that DM thread between Lightcast and then whoever, and I'm sure now as this information has been passed around to a number of people, because I confirmed that it was passed around to other people before I said anything about it. That it was
So what is stopping this new motion comic from being shut down as well?
Probably nothing if they don't live in the United States.
Oh,
because they're not bound. You're not, if you don't live in the United States, you're not bound by United States copyright law.
Really?
I mean, like, they can argue it to an extent, you know what I mean? Like, but it's going to require a lot of resources to go and do that.
Okay.
Now, granted,
if Warner Brothers truly shut them down, right? Like, let's consider that's legitimate truth.
Consider the following. This hypothetical may have happened.
Yeah. So let's say Warner Brothers really shut it down, right?
Yeah.
And this new guy or this guy, whatever the fucking case is, because it's so much different stuff I can't even comprehend it at this point. This guy instead is now like, you know what? Fuck it, I'm making my own. Hire the porn actress as Feora. Give me a leading role. Yada yada. So like, it's all original art, new script. So they're not using the storyboards, is what I'm gathering. Because Ill Life was doing the score. The kid who you brought the concept.
Yeah. And I heard part of that too, and it sounded really good.
Yeah, he's a great artist. He gave me some music to use as well. So he's a great artist, great musician, or great, I don't know. composer, I don't know how you say it, or what you want to be titled. But um, I think everyone is innocent here. Every person involved is innocent except 3 or 4.
Okay.
Yeah. I think the top, right? It crumbled from the top, and they didn't do what they needed to do. They ran with something that they thought was a good idea, and they tried to push it out too quick, and they couldn't handle what the process. Like, why do you think it takes so long for movies to get made and stuff like that? Like, I don't know. It just seemed like, what did you say that they wanted it out by quarter 3?
Yeah. They wanted it up by quarter 3. Again, all the info has kind of been in this weird space where it's like they wanted out, but they said this is going to come out by quarter 3. And my speculation was that they wanted to tie it into the home video release of Zack Snyder's Justice League,
Right.
just for like algorithmic reasons,
Yeah, of course.
or
Seems smart, actually.
yeah. And so they started working on the idea in like maybe March or end of March, early April, perhaps. I don't know the exact dates. And like Nicotina had his idea and they did their stuff with it. And then it went over to Matt. I don't know the exact time when Matt came on, because like I know Nicotina, those guys don't want to talk about it, but I'm like, just like give me like 10 minutes to ask very simple questions to establish a proper timeline. That I think would be fascinating and give us a good idea of just how things went down. Now, granted, at the same time, the project is dead, so like, what does it matter?
Yeah.
You know
won't
what though?
talk
But
to me either about it. So.
but I'm sorry, the investigative journalist in me, it still is like, I need to know.
I asked. Yeah, to be honest, to be fully transparent, I asked if he would come on and or privately if I could ask some questions as well, and
Yeah.
and he rejected it. So
Yeah, I get you. I understand that too. I like Nicotina. I get it.
yeah,
Now TW brings up a good point. I said that they're not susceptible to U.S. copyright law, but they are subject to copyright laws in the country in which the project is being made. Yeah, that's true. Now, but then again, in certain countries, copyright law doesn't mean shit.
yeah,
So it's like it is what it is. At the same time, as long as they establish that it's a not for profit thing, they're generally okay. Right? They're generally okay. So if on that thing with Matt saying, as long as we say this, they're generally all right. But something spooked him. And I don't think it was Warner Brothers. I think that it was the fans. I think the fans pushing back. How do you combat that? Because he cut and run. He didn't fill anyone in. He didn't do anything. He just put out his little woe was me, I'm a victim multiple times statement.
yeah.
And then ran from there. Now McLeod here makes a joke. $5, man. Thank you. Says, I'm going to go make my own motion comic and it'll have blackjack and hookers. And there's been no better time for a Bender reference, sir. Thank you for that. I really appreciate it.
Oh man, I love it.
But we'll have to wait to see on that one. I think again, more people are going to start really heavily putting things out there on Matt. I think more people are going to drop more info about how this project kind of fell apart. I think we might find out that ultimately he, we know he's full of it, but he really left people holding the bag, and I think people just want answers.
Yeah, I just don't. What and again, I've told you this on multiple occasions. What I respect about somebody is what some things I can respect about someone is if they made a mistake and then they came out and they said, "Listen, I made a mistake," right?
Yeah.
And I will do my best to not make said mistake again. However, I don't respect when you fuck up and then you put the blame on other people and pretty much throw anyone you can under the bus, cut and run, literally shut everything down and leave it at that, right? And then you leave the people that were generous enough to don't give you their time in generally helping make or raise money for a good cause, one cause that they've been fighting for 4 years now, right? That same exact cause. Now you got those people picking up the pieces, and you wonder why, people like Dawson just are like, I can't do it anymore. Like, I don't want to be on
Yeah.
Twitter or whatever. Like, sorry, Matthew, that's on you. And I liked you, you know that. And if you ever listen to this, like, dude, I really did. I thought of you as a friend, but I don't like when people do that shit. So, honestly, not cool.
Not cool.
Not cool,
Not
man.
cool.
Green jacket, gold jacket, who gives a fuck?
I mean, look, it's I'm hoping that this kind of stuff can be moved on. But like I said, more people are going to probably be dropping info, and we've been talking about it. And I'll just be honest with you guys. I'll be upfront. Part of the reason why I want to talk about it again is because fuck that guy. I'm sorry, fuck that guy.
I'm gonna grab a drink real quick.
Yeah, if you're gonna come at me, like, not just me, but other people, then there's all that. Fuck you. I don't care. I don't like this guy. Anyway, Rational Skeptic here, $2, man. Thank you. Says, like, I should have come to you for advice. I mean, I'm not that yet. I'm not the best for advice on that front. I have my opinions. We haven't talked about Army of Thieves yet. I know, and we're coming into the last little bit of the show too. Anthony, I've seen you, man. I'm not doing call-ins tonight. We're going to talk about Army of Thieves and then probably wrap it up. Although if you guys have any final questions, always super chats are always appreciated. Sirius Jones here says, I haven't seen Army of the Dead yet, so no spoilers. What? Like, go watch it and then come back and finish the stream. Liff here says, we all spent months working hard on it, didn't want to give up because of others' mistakes, so we got a new writer and went back to square one. Are you talking about Vega or what? Because, I know you guys spent months working on it and nobody wants to see their work go to waste. I get that. I told Zeverfet, still just fucking do it. Put it out, the audio version of it, your original concept with just like the scrolling art, the scrolling frames. Let people hear it. Maybe add a little bit of fucking, it's, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. They should just put it out. Hold on. This one caught my eye. The all-seeing. Who is this guy? It's all for E. N-word. What's good? Loved Army of the Dead. Dieter was my favorite character, and I can't wait for this movie. Suck my tremendous balls. Haters.
Who let that one through?
I did, but I saw it. I mean, maybe it got deleted. I don't know. Nope, it's right there. I don't know who is this fucking guy. I have no fucking idea.
That was a great comment, though.
That was a funny comment. Yeah. Yeah. Like, it just, like Dieter is my favorite character.
Great way to follow up.
Yeah. So oh shit. There we go. Get in on that one. All right. So they put out the new trailer for Army of Thieves, and
all right, you know what? I can't do this.
What?
I was just kidding. I was making a joke.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna pretend like I couldn't shit on a Snyder movie, but I can.
Well, Snyder is this a Snyder movie?
He's a producer on it.
Is Wonder Woman 84 a fucking Snyder movie?
Well, I see where your point is.
Was Wonder Woman a Snyder movie? Was that Suicide Squad? I'm just saying. It's like he's executive producer. Like, I mean, yeah, his name's there, but like he wasn't on set. Like they shot it at the end of the year. They started filming, I think, like October.
I just don't care for the story. Like I'm not excited. Like
that's my thing. Is like, who is this fucking movie for? Who is Army of Thieves for? Like it's not. It's like I like Dieter's character.
Cult.
Yeah, like Netflix is gonna drop like fucking $60 million on a movie like this. That's specific. I don't know. I mean, the thing is, it's like
that's what they call us, right? The Snyder cult.
I liked the character. And so I like the
greenlit far before anyone knew what the character was like.
Yeah, it's true.
So it didn't, you know what I mean? Like maybe the executives were like, oh, this, like anyone who saw like how Army of the Dead being made, they're like, oh, there's something with this character that like is really gonna, hit, you know, mesh with people, and people are gonna love this character. So like, let's get it, like let's get on top of it when we, now. Cool,
Yeah.
I'm on board with that, but I don't understand like why the story is being told. Like usually a story like when you're a storyteller, right? When you're telling a story, generally, there's a reason that you're telling it, or like there's an audience that you want to. I just don't. You exactly your thumbnail was perfect. Who is this for? Like who asked for this?
Yeah, well, so here's here's the what Wikipedia says about it, right? They say that Army of Thieves is an upcoming romantic rom-com. They call it a rom-com,
Oh Jesus!
romantic comedy heist film, including zombies.
Yeah,
But
aren't the
they're-
zombies
but
halfway across the world?
I mean, they're on the yeah. Right now, it is directed by Matthias Schweighöfer, who does play Dieter.
Yeah, he's actually pretty good.
And I like him. I thought he was great in Army of the Dead.
Yeah.
It's produced by Zach and Debbie. And it's with a screenplay by Shay Hatton, who came up with which wrote it from an original story co-written by Snyder and Hatton. So they fleshed out this prequel. But the premise of it is that it takes place 6 years before the events of Army of the Dead,
Okay.
during the beginning stages of the zombie outbreak, and follows Ludwig Dieter in his early days of safecracking as he is hired by a mysterious woman to pull off a heist with the help of a misfit crew of aspiring thieves.
Okay.
So again, who the fuck is this movie for? Like, I mean, if you are a fan of Army of the Dead, if you are a fan of Snyder and his characters, if you are a fan, I get all that. All right. Like I am too. But like I watched this trailer, and I'll just play the trailer in the back. We'll just have the fucking audio off. But like, there's no zombies in this movie, right? There's
They're on the TV for that 1 second that I see.
yeah. Right, like that's it. There's let me see if that could be. Is that the full screen? Is it full screen?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So
for
it's like,
producer Zack Snyder, they want you
Yeah.
to know that. They're right
you
there.
know,
That's it.
like what are they? Yeah, I mean, she's hot, but like,
So
it's like, okay, they're gonna go hack
hey,
into
Game of Thrones girl.
yeah, it's like they're gonna go hack into this thing, and it's a action comedy movie. Like it looks like it looks
Kind of looks like Fast and Furious. And
it looks a little bit
like-
Fast and Furious. Yeah, witness the army before the dead. Like, what is this? This looks like relatively generic, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And that's not to say that it's bad. It just looks generic, where I'm trying to like figure out here, like, okay, what are you trying to tell me? And how exactly is this going to be something that's going to be, like there's no zombies. There's no Dave Bautista. It's not directed by Zack Snyder. It has, I can never pronounce her name. Nathalie Emmanuel from Game of Thrones and Fast and Furious. Yeah. And so she's in it. So she's, she should be all over the fucking marketing.
Yeah.
She should be all over the marketing on this thing. The trailer that they put, the image that they put out today, right, is like they have this poster right here, which is just, I don't know why it's so small, right? But anyway, like for one, like the artwork for this is awesome. The posters have been great. The artwork has been really interesting. But
You think that's
again,
a good poster.
this is I like it. I like that it's simple.
Okay.
All right. I like that it's simple. But my point relatively still stands, where it's like, okay, look, you're showing us something here that's interesting, at least in regards, like some of the key art here is nice, like, okay, it looks like it's going to be.
It's like, okay. Listen, I'm a huge Snyder fan. Really am. Love it. I loved Army of the Dead. I just don't understand this, because like part of the draw of Army of the Dead is the dead. right? This apocalyptic world. If you're gonna set a prequel in a universe where a zombie outbreak is happening, well, I would like to see how it goes down. I don't want to
Yeah.
see a heist taking place in Germany or wherever they are. Like that's I don't why like I don't think I need to be told the story is what I'm saying. I would rather know like uh, what's happening on the TV where they show shit. Look what's happening in the United States. That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
the story that I want you to tell me.
so according to Deborah Snyder, back in May, she described the film as similar to The Italian Job in a world where zombies exist. While explaining that the film is standalone in nature, she says that that it's classified as a romantic comedy heist film that canonically depicts the early stages of the zombie pandemic portrayed in previous films, saying that it takes place in a world where these zombies exist in America and it's causing instability in the banking institutions. They're moving money around, so it's a perfect opportunity for a heist. Okay.
Okay.
But they've also said here, Schweikhofer admitted that while the movie isn't categorically a zombie film, he said that the undead may appear, while Snyder did confirm that there will be zombies in the film.
Yeah, on TV.
Yeah, probably on TV. Because they're not in America, they're not in Vegas.
Unless they swim too, or unless we're not being like we don't know the whole thing, the whole truth.
I mean, and look, the thing is, and the reality of it is, we probably don't know the full truth. All right, like just like with Army of the Dead, we don't know the full truth.
Yeah.
Right. But then my question boils back down to the concept of let's kind of apply this logic for a second to another franchise. Okay. The Paranormal Activity franchise does this.
Okay.
Have you seen those movies?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So I'm at least going to reference
Well,
the first.
I mean, up to like 4.
That's fine. The first 3 is mainly what I'm referring to here.
Okay.
So in the first movie, you don't know what the hell is going on with Micah and Katie.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Like, it's like, oh, why is this happening? Oh my God. Why is this movie out of focus? Oh my God. Staircase. Yeah. But you find out in the movie that the demon is like tracking Katie and has been after her since she was a kid. All right. And that's really about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then in number 2, I forget like what exactly you find out. Oh no, you find out it was more about her sister. In like number 2, you get like you get like one line of dialogue.
Yep.
One line in both movies. It's really brief. Then in number 3, you learn a bit about the witches, the Coven of Witches, right? And you're like, oh, that's a little fascinating. That's a line of fucking dialogue.
Yep.
That's it. Very brief. End of the movie, they open the garage. The Coven of Witches is there. The main guy runs back out and he gets his fucking back broken by the goddamn demon.
Yep.
That's it. They tell you only one little itty bitty piece of story to the larger universe.
Uh-huh.
And then they move on. Like, isn't number 4, like, it's like the kid from like the first movie or like the second movie all grown up?
Like, I really don't remember.
Okay.
Like,
Well, then they did the
I think
Lost
I've seen
Ones.
The first 3.
Okay. Well, then they did the Lost Ones, which was like the last one that they have a new one, a reboot coming this fall on Paramount Plus.
Which, by the way, we're honest to God, what a brilliant idea. Low budget, killed it. The marketing killed it. How they were showing you reaction to sequences in this. Like, it was the first movie that I ever saw that was showing me on the TV people freaking the fuck out at the theater. Yeah. Like with that green, thing.
Oh, yeah. No, that was beautiful.
The green hue and the night vision. It was beautiful marketing for a really low budget film. And it just smashed it. And then it was a good idea. And how they tied it together, like the series, I'm sure I would love to probably go back and actually watch them all the way through. Because I'm sure there's things that are cool about them. I just kind of lost interest in that jump scare kind of horror. And I don't know. But you're right that Listen, I'm not doubting that this is going to be a good movie. I'm not
Yeah,
saying
no,
that.
I'm not. I'm definitely not against watching it, and I'm not
Yeah,
telling anyone to not watch it. I will never say that about a movie.
I just don't understand why we're not why we the prequel. When I heard prequel, I was like, cool, we're gonna figure out what the hell happened.
Yeah, and then it's like no, it's actually
Simple
going
as
to
that.
be in another country, and they're going to be okay. So it's another country. Oh, it's with it's 6 years before the events of the movie. Okay, it's about a heist. It's got the girl from Game of Thrones and from Fast and Furious. It's got the funny German dude with the weird hair that people
Yeah.
liked, but we don't know what happened to him at the end of the movie either.
Yep.
You know, oh, okay, cool. It's like coming to Netflix. Oh, I gotta fucking pay any money to go see it.
Yeah.
But I will say this, like the shot of them, like when they're driving the van, it's like on the alongside the cliff,
Yep.
and they're like fighting and stuff like that. I got real Fast 7 vibes out of that.
That's what I'm saying.
Right. But it also comes across as a bit generic because it's like, it's nothing that I haven't seen before. Oh, there's a situation where a heist is taking place. Okay, cool. Oh, a heist in the middle of a zombie apocalypse. That's a great little bit for Army of the Dead. Oh, this is just a heist during the beginning of the zombie apocalypse when there's no zombies around, but people are worried about their money. Oh,
Right.
okay. Okay.
Right. Because zombies are in the United States now. The world is reacting. It only makes sense that the world would react not greatly to that. And it's weird because like we know spoiler do I have to say that spoilers for Army of the Dead?
I mean, I would say this audience has probably seen it.
Okay, spoilers. We know that the zombie outbreak is not going to get anywhere for at least another 6 years, at least a minimum for another 6 years from Army of Thieves, unless we're not being told, unless we don't know the real truth. Was it only in Vegas? It seems pretty unlikely to me, but no, actually, no. Unless we don't, I don't know, because there's a lot we don't know about the Area 51 shit and how it
Well,
actually.
and again, that's kind of the other part of it. Like, is any bit of this going to end up taking him over to Area 51? Like, how much of this is going to tie into the movie? Because he's in Vegas in Army of the Dead, so he clearly is going to find his way out to Vegas.
Yes.
In this movie, are they going to tie it into where it's like he's going to be thinking about wanting to go into Vegas and like pull off a heist there because it's like setting up the movie or whatever? I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
there's
just
like
don't-
it comes out later this year. We just don't know anything more about it.
and like I said, it's probably gonna be good. It'll be a good like movie, but I just don't think it'll be like I don't as far as like a universe building movie. I don't see how this builds the universe. And isn't that what we're supposed to be doing? Isn't that what
Yeah.
the goal is, to build this world of Army of the Dead and like what's going on around it, or not what's going on around it, but how the zombies got there, why they are there. Like those are the answers that we're looking for, not what Dieter did 6 years before we meet him. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just maybe not my fucking place to say either.
Well, no, you're clearly wanting to see more of the world, but this is not what you had in mind.
This is not what I had in mind at all.
But again, as I like to say, if I'm wrong in any of my hot takes, I have no problem eating my words. I think that's part of the fun of it, right? Like, oh, here's Jarbo, another fucking hot take. Because I get a fair amount of that. I do get a fair amount of that, and that's all well and good. But actually, man, that's not the. Is there anything else you want to cover really quick? I can wrap up because I'm actually like I'm
this is the
exhausted.
fifth
My hernia.
hour.
Yeah. You've been on for a while, and my hernia's been killing me all damn day.
Yeah, no, hold on. That was actually the last thing. I'm pretty exhausted as well, man. Fuck yeah. Army of who is this for?
Yeah. That should be the. That should be on the poster. I guess let's take a couple last quick questions from the audience here. Now Kira makes a good point saying, did the Purge sequels build that universe that much? I would say, yeah, they did a little bit, I mean, obviously with like, the Purge, 2 took us out of the house and showed us the world. And Frank Grillo was badass in that movie.
Oh yeah.
And then you got what, The Purge 3, like I forget what happened to that one. I didn't see 4 or the last one. Wait, like I never saw the first Purge. Yeah, I need to sit down and actually watch them all because like they're good. I like them.
I know, no. I would really like to sit down and watch them all because the reason I didn't watch them is because I thought I had this preconceived notion on what they were, and then I found out that that's not true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like it's just, from like, was it from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. once a year, all crime is legal, including murder.
Yeah, it just sounded corny, honestly.
Here's my question though, and this is what I've wondered ever since I saw the first trailer for that. Everyone's like, oh my God, what would you do in The Purge?
I'd fucking hide.
Well, yeah, some people would hide, some people would go rob shit, blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, what would,
I'm not getting murdered.
Like, what would pedophiles do?
Yeah.
Right? And no, well, hold on. Like, how many times do you think if someone was a pedo, how many? And because like, let's imagine for a second.
Listen, you're barking down a real bad tree.
No. Hold on, I'm gonna flip it on its ear. Trust me.
All right,
okay,
all right.
I'm flipping on its ear. All right, like all of those people who are on that registry, all of that, like most of that shit's really fucking public.
Yeah, of course.
So like, I guarantee you, there would be a mob of people just going through their city and just cleaning it up.
See, but that's a purge I could get behind.
I think that's a purge a lot of people could get behind.
Why is that to my knowledge, has that been used? Have they done that yet? That's
a real life case.
The purge of all the pedophiles.
The real life case actually happened like that last year, where there was a guy who was a registered sex offender who was gunned down, not by the father of a victim, but just by another dude who knew who he was and hated the fact that this guy was a pedophile and saw him, according to this guy, like eyeballing children while he was out like washing his van and shit.
Yeah.
And so the dude went over there and pulled out a gun and just gunned him down. And that guy just got 20 years in prison for that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And a lot of people I've seen are like, well, what did he do? That was so wrong. And it's like, well, again,
he took out a gun and killed somebody.
Like that is, and
who
that is
in reality wasn't really doing anything like.
Well, had done things that were horribly wrong, and that moment in time potentially wasn't. Yeah, It's a weird argument, but it's like, again, when you start when you start talking about things like The Purge, when you start kind of opening up on that front, it's like, oh, how weird could this get, sort of thing.
It could get really weird.
So I'm just saying, yeah.
But listen, you're right though. That is that's a series. They even have like a TV series, if I'm not.
They did, yeah. I think they did like one season of it or something. It was supposed to be like a 1 season limited run. I think they might have done 2 seasons, but if I recall, it was on USA. Of all fucking things.
That's a big universe, dude.
Yeah, and that was originally like a $3 to $5 million film. Like, Ethan Hawke and Lena Headey shooting like a, some dudes in a Nixon mask are trying to break in the house type shit.
Yeah.
I mean, what they did that Liv Tyler film, The fucking Strangers, from a few years beforehand, and that one like only has 1 sequel. But The Purge is like, wait a minute, hold on, you're making murder legal? I mean, MX Bravo here says, people just want to be violent regardless of the cost. That's very true.
Yeah. Do you think people are naturally violent?
I think we all have the propensity for violence. Yes. Okay. I think what it is like, okay, this is going to be a weird analogy, and then I'll probably kill it after this. We're like dogs, all right? So, like, dogs are descendants of wolves, okay?
Okay.
And so we were domesticated. Wolves were domesticated. We all have the propensity for our base elements of existence are to eat, sleep, and fuck. That's our general version, is to procreate. But we also protect our family. We also protect our pack, if you will, and we still have to eat and hunt and survive, and and it just, our world is so much easier on that than it used to be. But really, it's like if someone gets in the way of something that you want, like that for millions and millions of years, literally millions and millions of years, or hundreds of thousands of years. How about that? Since like Cro-Magnon man, right? that was the rule of the road. I want something, you have something, you don't give it to me, I kill you and I fucking take it.
Yeah.
We've never bred that out of us. We've simply just distracted us with other things.
Right.
And so
That
it's so
makes sense.
through comfort, through creature comforts, we generally tend to, I think, push back on violence. So here's a weird take on this one, right? If you want my honest opinion, how you curb, like, let's say violence in like inner cities, flood it with cash. But like, I mean that literally. Like, if you take away the need that so many people in those communities have for just basic fucking things, you know, like I used to work for the LA Unified School District, and one time they sent me to Watts. And I'm sure you've heard of Watts. It's not a good place.
Is it something similar to what we have? Like we have Watsy and
I don't know. Well, like there was a big riot there back in '64.
Okay, we're not talking about the same thing.
Yeah, we're not talking about the same place at all. So it's literally right next to South Central.
Okay.
Okay, so when I got there, I took the subway down because it was like way too far for me to drive in my car. So I took the subway down, and on one side of the tracks, it was neon buildings, palm trees, manicured lawns. This was fucking South Central, dude. The shit from the fucking 90s that was like the hardest place to live in Southern California. Right. And there was like neon buildings. It looked okay. I looked the other way down into Watts, and it looked like a fucking war zone. Trash everywhere, like diapers on the streets and shit, dude. Fucking trash everywhere. It's trash. I go walking to the school. I get to the school. I walk into the principal's office or to the front office. I sit down. Principal comes out. This is an all black school, by the way.
Okay.
Principal comes out. Very lovely lady. She's like, "Oh, are you here?" She's like, "Can I help you?" I said, "Oh, I'm here with the, with the, I forget what they're called, but the company I was working with." And they're like, "Oh, okay." She's like, "Where did you park your car at?" And I said, "Oh, I took the subway and I walked here." And she goes, "Are you fucking stupid?"
Oh, no.
And I'm like, "Why?" She's like, "You're going to get shot walking around out here."
Oh no.
And this is at 8:30 in the morning, dude. And I'm like, and I mean, like, I'm a pretty pasty looking white dude and shit. And like, it's like a beacon in that community apparently. And I'm like, what the fuck, you know? And so I like, even during lunch, because usually when I go to these events that they want me to go to, like they cater lunch.
Yeah.
This time they did not cater lunch.
So you had to go get.
I had to go get it. So there was a shop across the street. This was like you know.
He put his hood on and he ran across the street.
This is summertime. I was wearing like a fucking I was wearing a lime green like avocado green button up t-shirt with like a fucking clip on tie and shit, dude. Right? Like it looked terrible. I did not look good in that shirt. Okay. Anyway, I was wearing that. Yeah. I have zero fashion sense. Anyway, so I go across the street and like I go to the shop and like the AC wasn't on, and this was so bad where even the coolers for the drinks, they had the lights on, but there was no AC. There was no coolant in these, you know, everything was warm. It was just warm and there was flies everywhere. And I bought a bag of Funyuns and like
that's a real bodega, baby.
Yeah, and I bought a bag of Funyuns and I got a fucking an Arizona iced tea.
Warm.
And I walked back over, and as I walked back over, like this guy and this girlfriend like they get into a fight in the middle of the street, and this dude like goes up to like the school, to the fence around the school, and he's got one hand above him and one hand behind him, and he's gripping the bars. And his girlfriend is berating the shit out of him, but he isn't saying a word. He's looking straight ahead and he's gripping the bars. And I'm looking at the people that I'm with, I'm like, what the fuck is this guy doing? And they're like, oh shit, dude, he must have just got out of jail. Like that dude is against that wall. He ain't moving. Yeah. But like this community is like, again, what they need is they need reprieve.
Yeah.
You know, they need reprieve. We forget about these communities, and these communities oftentimes, in my opinion, if you help them, and not in a condescending, shitty sort of fucking way, but like if you actually work within the community, you can raise them up. And then if you raise them up, then that need for violence and theft and that this just to survive generally tends to go down.
Yeah.
You know, and like, look, I could be wrong. I'm not a sociology major. I'm just an idiot just observing what I observe, you know.
Historically, it's worked.
Yeah, let's see here. No one would ever mess with the leader of the Jarbo cartel. TW here says, plot twist, the real Jarbo died and was replaced with an exact duplicate. A la McCartney.
A la McCartney.
You know, Let's see here. Matt trying to do like Hillary Swank and Freedom Writers. Bitch, I prefer fucking Michelle Pfeiffer and what was it, Dangerous Minds? Or how do I reach these kids? I'm not Edward James Olmos, man. I'm just saying, man. Like, I'm just saying, this is, you know, like that's the kind of shit, right? That I'm talking about. It's just like if we help out these people, we might be able to do something, and that's kind of the whole point.
We might,
right? That's kind of the whole point, and so that's where I stick with that.
Why,
That's
like the same. It's like the same thing with like the homeless stuff, right? Instead of busing them or creating these environments like for them to live in, but like homelessly, like live in, like in Boston, right? For instance, there's this place called Mass Ave, and they create the, instead of like the heroin addicts and people that use drugs, let's just keep it plain in general, instead of them just being all over the streets, all over that one street, you know, where the public can see them, they've built this like tent community for them out of the public's eye, and they can get 3 meals a day there. Then the shelter's right behind it, so then they can sleep there, and they can do whatever the fuck they want inside those gates, right? Including basically stand there and say, yo, I got hard, I got brown, I got this, I got sober. Yeah, list goes on and on. And the police don't go in. Yeah. As long as they're out of sight, out of mind. Right?
We have that in Olympia too.
Yeah. So
not like that, but yeah, very similar.
So they've created a haven for a drug addict. Why would you want to leave there? You get free food, a place to sleep, and you're in a community where your drugs, you can constantly have them. No one's going to leave that. You're not helping. You're just moving out of sight. So a lot of people in Boston have a lot of problems with it.
Oh, well, like the thing is, like the West Coast is like that too, all the way up, all the way down. Yeah. You know, Seattle's homeless situation is very like when weed became legal, a lot of people migrated up there, and it's like you walk through downtown Seattle and like you will just smell weed, you know. And then like it gets a little crazy sometimes. Santa Barbara is like the craziest one that I've seen because it's a really rich town, but like it's on the West Coast. The 101 freeway is the only way in and the only way out. Yeah. You know, it's just, it cuts right through the town and that's it. You go up and homeless people move up there, and like they've taken over a park in the center of the city, but everyone else just kind of ignores them and whatever. But as like, people need help. They need, you know, jobs. We need to find ways to, you know, to really kind of help lift people up. And that, of course, would not make for an interesting movie. No. Like I'm sorry, like maybe like an uplifting, you know, like Oscar bait kind of film. Yeah. Nomadland. Jesus. Yeah. There you go. You want to watch a fucking movie about an Amazon seasonal worker? Guess what? I know like 8 of them. You know, like it's like I moved into my van and then I got a job working at Amazon. That's not a movie. That's a real life situation right there.
Yeah, and that's what I always say is like Austin on my show. He's like always defending Nomadland. I'm like, dude, it's not a fucking movie. Like, yeah, oh cool, it's so fucking SJW. Like, it's so cool, dude. Nomadland. I can't wait to see that in theaters. Who? What? I literally could not tell you what any appeal. What is the appeal of that film?
I don't know. Look, that's the thing though. Is like
what's the draw there?
Most of these people, all right. Most of I should say the like the Hollywood elite, whatever. The
SAG is soft, bro.
So SAG is soft.
The Academy is soft, not SAG. Sorry, the Academy has gone soft.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say the Film Actors Guild.
No, fucking the Academy.
Yeah, it is.
Has gone soft.
I mean, the thing is though, why
do you think your viewership is down? Because you're not nominated.
I'll tell you why my viewership is down, because I'm not out here bashing Masters of the Universe. That's why my viewership is down. If I was out here bashing Masters of the Universe, man, I'd have like 1,000 people watching right now.
Fuck that
I'd be
show.
rolling in super chats. I'd
Social
be like,
justice
yeah,
warriors. All
yeah.
it is SJW.
Tila, may I speak to your manager?
Yep. I don't even. He-Man dies in the first episode. It's not a He-Man show.
It's so stupid.
I have no idea if any of what I said is true. So.
It's yeah. Actually, sorry, spoilers, everybody.
Wait, I got something right?
Yeah.
Oh no. Oh god. Well,
there you go. This is what happens when you play the guessing
game. I literally
game.
just guessed at everything, by the way. I swear I have never watched any He-Man or heard anything about it. All I've heard about it is that people don't like the woman in it. I don't understand.
Well, the people who don't like the woman in that don't like women in anything.
Right. They're right. They frequent the Gamers channel. Right.
Matt, it's all about accountability over entertainment. Yeah, there we go. But all right, Ty, where can people find you, man?
Hey, you can find me on all social media at pop_culture corner 2020 or in some variation of that. Just type in Pop Culture Corner. Look for the this logo. 1 second. That one. Look for that logo, and that's where we are. On YouTube, Pop Culture Corner, and then on any of those places, you can find our podcast, or you can just type in Pop Culture Corner on any of your podcast platforms, and we should pop up #1 because that's all we've. Actually, funny story. There used to be another Pop Culture Corner. It was this like college thing. It must have been like some weird, like it was like a film like thing. Like some college did. I had to reach out to them and ask them to because they hadn't posted in like 10 years. And I had to reach out to them and be like, can you delete your shit? Because you're really like screwing with me. And she was luckily like super nice. So yeah, funny story. But thank you for having me on, Matt. Yeah, just look us up, Pop Culture Corner. We do kind of the same thing, just a little bit more PG, I'd say. But we have a good time doing it. And
yeah. I mean, I like to swear, but a lot of other people don't as much.
No, it's something I don't like to. It's just
you're like, I want the kids.
I don't get enough. I don't get enough super chats to be able to go wild yet.
Okay, yeah. But you get there some nights. You get there some nights though. That's
of course.
The key is to be consistent, man. Be consistent with your dick jokes. And I told some good ones on your podcast, so I'll link that up when it goes out. It was.
We just had over this past month been really crazy and really good too. We had Gary Gray. He's in things like Rocket Power. I know this is gonna sound like there's a bunch of kids shows. Fairly Odd Parents, Rugrats. He was also in the Cosby Show. He was in Fresh Prince.
Oh wow!
And he's been in a bunch of shit. So we had him. We had chief film critic for Variety, Owen Gladman on. Mark Pellegrino from Supernatural. We're gonna have Richard Citroni. Works with Zack Snyder a lot. And he was Zeus in Army of the Dead, actually. But scheduling, he had to go back to Seattle, so we've rescheduled him for September. Then we had Charlie Talbert that you jumped in on.
Yeah.
Thank you, by the way. So I mean, we have a lot of people in film come on and talk about the industry. It's always great. It's always fun to talk to those people. So
yeah, I need to get on that myself a bit more and try to get people in here.
Fun, man.
Be like, yo, you want to talk about movies? And they'll be like, what do you want to talk about? I'm like, let's talk about making movies.
Yeah.
Like that shit's always pretty fun, man. It's a lot more in depth, and it's not like you can't really fight over that, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, dude, honestly, this time when Mark came on, he was like, I don't want to talk about acting, and I was like, what? He's like, I don't want to talk about acting at all, and I was like, oh, okay, what do you want to talk about? He's like, I want to talk about anything else, and I was like, all right, I can make that work. So we just talked about like the political climate and stuff. It was actually really fun. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of like got to like go out of my wheelhouse a little bit.
Yeah.
I thought that was like really cool. It scared me a little bit at first, but because like I didn't want to say anything because like for him, Mark Pellegrino, like he's really like he does not give a fuck. Like he'll clap back on you if you say something that he doesn't like, or if you attack like something that he believes in. So being an actor in Hollywood and like, having cancel culture take over, like you know what I mean, it became an interesting dynamic talking about, you know, what's that like with that shit always over your shoulder, are you worried? He's like, oh, if I get canceled, I get canceled. I was like, well, pretty lackadaisical, my friend.
Yeah, but he's got the supernatural, you know,
dude, he's in
royalties.
so much more than that.
Oh, I know. Actually, I never saw him in Supernatural, but
he was in Lost. He was Jacob in Lost, dude.
But he also was in
13 Reasons Why, National Treasure, Dexter.
Yeah, no, yeah. He was a piece of shit in Dexter. He was a good actor.
He was the brother of and he's got a thing coming out called American Rust. The trailer just dropped. You should check it out.
All right.
It's, Jeff Daniels is the lead in it, and it looks real good.
What was that show? It was Sam Witwer as the vampire.
Oh, I know what you're.
Yeah.
He was Mr. Poe in it or something like that.
Yeah. He was in like the first season. He was like the head vampire guy.
Yeah.
It was like it was something. I forget the name of that show.
Not True Blood.
No, it's not. No, it's not True Blood.
I wish it was True Blood. I forget, but I do know what I know what you're talking about. But yeah, he was in that as well. Yeah, I just Mark's a good friend of mine now, and I just love him. I love we were just having a conversation today about.
Oh, it was Being Human. That's what it was.
Being Human. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's just a good time. I made a lot of friends throughout the 9-10 months we've been doing this, and
nice. And that's the best way to do it.
Yeah, but even like I'm talking about people like you as well. So, you know.
Like, a lot of YouTubers are like, you know, if you're in the same kind of niche, a lot of people are just kind of chill.
Yeah.
It's just when people
Except
get
this
like
one dude, Enosh, he kind of fucking annoys me. I think I see him.
Shh. I think say his name 3 times. He appears.
Just kidding, buddy. I love you.
All right, man. Well, hey, everyone, check out Ty and Pop Culture Corner. Good stuff over there, and I'm sure he'll be on again. As I hope, and I'll be on his stuff too. Yeah. All right, everyone. I'm gonna go to bed because this hernia sucks.
It's 3:15 up for my
yeah.
No. All right.
I know Mondays are always the worst day of the week for me, man. It's like that's the day my girlfriend's got to get up early to go to work, and it's like, no, I just want to sleep. But I'll be back on tomorrow, and we'll be talking about whatever the hell else is going on in Hollywood. So have yourself a great night, everybody. Thank you very much, and peace out.